Hey everyone, what's up? It's J Terminex, final part here. Looking at some special stats. So, really quickly, we'll go over some of the special stats that I have, and some of you may or may not be familiar with some of these. And, I'll kind of let you know my experience with them in the game. So, I think I mentioned before that this right here, negative 30 attack for 3 rounds. It's fairly decent when defending. So if you want to use it on your defense team, it's not too bad. It'll actually kind of mess around sometimes with some teams. Sometimes I'll get negative 30 attack, and I use an AR, not knowing or just not realizing that my character has negative 30 attack. And I'm thinking I'm gonna wipe this guy like in one attack, and then I'm like, what the hell? He still has like half his health. What the hell happened? And then I kind of realized, oh, I'm a dumbass. I didn't check that he had, they were inflicted with negative 30 attack with that debuff. So, again, when defending, I would say it's an okay stat. It's not a bad stat to have. Okay, AP down. So in theory, to me, this stat should be probably one of the best ones out there because not only does it not give you, AP like let's say absolute defense, or even stun, where you just can't attack for that, can't get AP. But this one actually is supposed to take away, or it does take away AP. The problem with this one right here is that in the first round, you have no AP to lose, so it kind of loses a little bit of value. Uh, but when I've used it on, because this is obviously on Cal. This is standard weapon, so I've used it with him, and it works pretty well. Um, I've seen it on some defense teams, and it works okay. You have to funnel them though to attack that one character, and for some odd reason, I don't know why, but I guess a lot of people don't realize that. So they'll put it on a character that I would never hit, anyways. They'll put it on a character with a lot of, with a huge AR, with like 76 or something like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna hit that guy because I know his AR's not gonna go off. So I'm gonna hit someone else and take them out since I know I have at least 2 or 3 turns before this guy ever goes off, or at least 3 turns. So, anyways, so that's my take on negative AP. It could be really good. In theory, it should be amazing, but unfortunately, in practice, it's only okay. It's good. It's a little bit better than okay, but it's definitely not one of the best. So this one right here, uh, this one's I would say it's better than good. I use it for my first round team. It allows me to command a character first round. So to me, it's very good actually. I love it. To be honest, this thing sat in my inventory for a long time, never being used, until I decided to make a first round command team. Uh, but there's another weapon out there. Let's see. It's a yellow weapon. Is it Slate? No. Let me look for it real quick, folks. I got the chart pulled up here, and you can find the chart online in a lot of places actually. Just give me 1 second. Defender, Raider. Okay, so bonus bonus AP. All team members receive plus 8% AP at the beginning of each wave. Supposedly that's very OP stat to have. I can see it. I actually have it on one of my characters. Unfortunately, I just got that character, so I haven't really used it yet. But again, this stat that I have right here is really good, and you can also find it on your blue weapon. It's a blue raider weapon. You can also get on that, and so you can get on blue and you can get on green. So it's I would recommend it. Depending on if you want to do a first round team. Okay. So I'm not gonna get into huge APs. I think you already know that. Okay, splash damage. I'm not a real big fan of it, mostly because They can inadvertently trigger ARs. So, you know, let's say you hit a guy and there's some other random guy that's nearby takes some damage, and normally their AOF wouldn't go off, but because of the splash damage, you hit them. Uh, so I don't necessarily like it too much. Fortunately for me, it's on a character that I don't use too much, so I'm not too concerned about it. In general, I would say that splash damage at the higher levels is probably not desirable, but that's just my opinion. Okay, so you know, here's a variable or a non-fixed bonus. Uh, I was trying to get absolute defense, and this weapon is tied to my Negan. The reason why I wanted absolute defense is Negan taunts, which forces all characters that are afflicted with taunt to attack him. So basically, the entire line would attack him. So if you couple that with absolute defense, it would be pretty interesting, and in theory, it should work very, very well. But of course, I didn't get it, and war came up, so I basically went with whatever I could because you know, Negan already has a lot of attack. This character already has a lot of attack on him, so I really wasn't worried about the attack. But when he taunts, I know they're gonna come attack him, so I wanted him to give him a little more survivability. So I put defense, as you can see, and I gave a bonus defense. So basically, when an enemy has more than 60% of their HP, then combined with his fixed defense, then he has plus 57 defense, which is not bad. So, uh, you know, there's a few right like this right here. You have let's see, let me look at defender. Okay, so bonus 30%, 35 bonus defense. You know, so those are pretty good. Uh, they're not the best. Now, they're not game changers, but they're definitely really good, especially if you have a character that you want to survive. Especially if they're already really high on a certain stat, like let's say attack, or yeah, attack or HP. So, anyways, that's my take on that one. Okay, so this one I really haven't used, so honestly, really can't say how good it really is, and I really haven't seen it used too much. So when I check it out more often, I'll post a video or something on that one. This one I actually like very much. I've seen some with plus 10%. I think the term 10% is just too minimal. It's just not enough to really provide any kind of significant difference. Plus 20 though, you know, this one procs a lot, and it's on my leader. So for some reason they just like hitting the hell out of my leader. So this one procs a lot. So I get a lot of heals from this. Uh, I mean, sometimes I'll take damage the entire round, and my whole team will be, you know, fully healed. If you could go past fully healed, then they probably would have more than 100% HP due to this stat right here. So this is a really good stat to have. So, anyways, you know, again, here's another bonus defense stat. You know, my take on it. They're pretty good. You know, not amazing, not game changers, but they're pretty good. Yeah, bleeding. That's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not a really big fan of it. I've seen it. I mean, plus, I mean, check it out. 70 damage from bleeding on a round. That's not really much, guys. You know, again, I mean, it's nice to see that they're taking damage, but I don't think it's really gonna be a game changer or be the difference between winning or losing. But that's just me. Uh, right here, plus 8 AP, plus 8% AP, supposedly OP. Can't say for sure. So here's another variable stat. Bonus attack. You have a whole bunch of these, just like you have bonus defense. Uh, I'm not too much of a fan of these, mostly just because, you know, if you wanted to, you can just have fixed attack on your character, and I mean, 3 turns of an enemy wave. So, you know, when you're in a raid, the first round is a wave. So I think you're supposed to. Nah, I'm not too familiar, but anyways, like I said, I don't like these right here. I'd rather just give them, fixed attack, and I mean, because even 3 rounds, I don't know if he's gonna go off by then. So, anyways, all right. So I kind of went through some of my stats, but we're just gonna go into. Sorry. We're just gonna go into some of the stats that I think are gonna be pretty good. Okay, so without it goes without saying that probably one of the most OP stats out there has got to be Defender level 3, which you can crit to get a stun gun. That's probably one of the most OP ones, if not the most OP ones. Especially if you get it on a shield. It's really damn annoying when they put it on a shield. And in fact, sometimes if you have a character that you cannot afford to get stunned, I would just defend. But anyways, uh, Defender level 3 for your alert characters. That's a really OP trait right there. You should definitely get that. Uh, Moving on to I think my next OP stat would be the one that I'm currently trying to get right now, which is Slayer level 3. So this is a stun. It provides stuns for 2 turns. And I gotta say, lately when I'm raiding, this thing like stuns at least every other turn. So if you can get a stun sword or a stun axe or shovel, no, not an axe. Yeah, I think you can get an axe or a shovel, whatever. Stun is really good. Definitely go for it. Um, for yellow weapons, you know, defender. Defender is really good. That's absolute defense. If you can get that, that's amazing. Actually, I think it's better on the Michonne fast shield than the Conrad alert shield, but that's just what I'm seeing so far. And also, you have 2 others that I like on yellow weapons, which is your bonus 8% AP. A lot of people are trying to get that. Um, and you also have something called Life Leech, which I've seen, but I have not really seen in action yet. But technically, or according to what the stat says, when attacking, a better chance to regain HP by 80% of the damage. So I guess that really depends on whether they give you the HP based off of ARs or just auto attacks. But certainly interesting. That's supporter level 3, defender level 3, and raider level 3 for yellow weapons. Pretty again, absolute defense and bonus 8% AP. Very, very, very desirable. And lastly, let's go to the blue weapons or tough characters. And we'll talk about which ones I think are the best. And it's got to be, I think, either impair when attacking or impair when taking damage. And that really just depends on whether you can funnel people to attack that character that has the impair when taking damage, or whether you're behind a shield, then you probably want impair when attacking, because more than likely that person's not going to get hit, at least not from an auto attack. So if you just have them back there behind a shield, just blasting people and impairing them, that's awesome. If you don't have a shield, then try to have them funnel them in a way to where they're going to attack that character and get impaired. And to be honest, I've been guilty of it. Sometimes I'll just hit a character not knowing that they have an impair when defending, and it really fucks me up. And sometimes it's cost me the whole raid. So, okay. And we're going to debate on double attack. Personally, I don't like it. I think it can inadvertently trigger an AR. I mean, when it works well, right? You know, you hit an alert character, you know, you hit him once, you hit him twice, he dies. You know, that's, you know, my Michonne has that, you know, on her sword, and she's a green character. So when she does it on yellow characters, it's really cool. When she doesn't, you know, on a non-yellow character and her AR goes off and then I get hit, it really kind of sucks. I think it happens more often with the blue weapon for some reason, in my opinion. Um, so, anyways, there you have it, folks, for special stats. Again, we'll just review real quick. Uh, for green weapons, if you can get the stun, level 3. Slayer, definitely get that one. Negative 30 AP when taking damage, which is Raider, is certainly a good alternative. For red, you definitely want the stun on your weapon. I think probably the only that's probably the only one that I would really recommend as far as red weapons. For yellow weapons, absolute defense. You know, enough said. Uh, Bonus AP at the beginning of each wave plus 8%. I haven't seen it myself, but like I said, according to a lot of people, it's really good. And lastly, impair on your tough weapons. Those are probably one of the best special stats. So, anyways, so now that we've spoken about them, you know, let's just let me see the time. So, how would you do them? Well, you know, it's you add or replace a special stat. You definitely want to start on a weapon that has not been modified even once, because if you don't get what you want to immediately reset it and well, try again. So let's say here I was trying for the stun sword, Slayer. So duct tape increases your chance of success. Now, if you succeed, according to the chart for Slayer at level 3, which this is right here, you have a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outcomes, and out of 7 of them, 3 of them are crits, and out of those 3, you have one that you want, which is the stun, or at least that I want. So to increase a crit, you would at a polishing kit, which I don't have, which is what it's telling me. You know, I'm gonna go buy one. Anyways, but if you added that, it would only go to about halfway. So it's kind of crappy. But you know, you have no choice. That's just the way it goes. And that's the same for all the other weapons as well. Whether you're doing a red, yellow, green, or blue, duct tape increases your chance of success. And out of that success, you have at least, I think, 7 of all of them. And out of all that, you have at least 3 that are crits. And out of those 3 crits, you have 1. So it's kind of pretty slim chances. So that's really all you have. If you can, save your duct tape and your polishing kits for those special stats. You know, if you can, for all your other ones, for like your AP, which is very important. You know, try to use the right leaders, so you can minimize, you know, whether you need a huge or very large on your weapon, or you know, just stock up on those very large weapons, you know, that you get. Those 4-star weapons, those 3-star weapons that come with very large AP when attacking. I love those weapons. Sorry about that. You know, weapons like this, I want to keep those. Weapons like this, keep those, stock them. You know, keep trying for your special stats, you know, like impairs or whatever. But in the meantime, if war's coming up, you know, you can do stuff like what I've done on mine. You know, here's one: attack, defense. You know, nope, attack, defense. You know, so here's one. I have HP and I have defense, and I have medium bonus to AP. Now, why didn't I make it go very large? Because if I run Andrea and put this on a 45 blue character, they're going to go off second round on defense. So why is that? You have 20 plus VL is 8 plus your medium times 1.4 or with your 40%, that equal 45, or at least 45. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you have a medium lead, then you need a very large weapon, or if you have a very large lead, then you only need a medium. So anyway, so that concludes this video. I want to thank you very much, and sorry if it took too long, and hopefully this provides you some sort of insight on what you want to do, how you want to set up your team, or set up your weapons for your teams going into wars. To me, everything I try to do it for war. So keep in mind that these weapons are going to get buffed, especially if the towers are good, especially if your team is really good at the towers. So try to think about how these weapons and how your team would work, not outside, but how it would work in wars. So anyways, thank you very much. Good night.